Okay, this video is just for extra help, so if you're not getting it, okay, I'm going to do number 3 and number 5 with you, and then you do the other ones by yourself. Number 3 is asking for a line that is parallel to this one, so that means the slope has to be the same slope. The slope here is 1 over 5x, so the slope would have to be positive 1/5. Okay, same slope. And it needs to pass through these 2 points. So that's your x1, y1, and you're going to plug that into the formula. So the formula says y minus y1 equals the slope, which is 1/5, parentheses, x minus the x1. Okay, so I skipped a step, that way we just plug in our numbers already. So what am I going to plug in place of y? The -7. And what am I going to plug in place of x? -1. So those signs are going to change, right? So that becomes a +7 and that becomes a +1. So I have y plus 7 equals 1/5, parentheses, x plus 1. And some of you are starting to catch on where you don't even have to put the minus on the outside. You're already changing the signs automatically of these two. So then we're going to distribute 1/5 times x is 1/5 x. And 1/5 times 1, put it in the calculator, math enter, gives you a +1/5. Equals, bring down y plus 7. And the last step is to move the 7 over, change the sign, -7, and combine these two. Okay, so it's going to be y equals 1/5 x, and whatever you get from this. I like to put fractions in parentheses, because if not, it might give you the wrong answer. So 1/5 in parentheses minus 7. Parentheses 1/5 minus 7. Enter, and math enter. So that's a -34 over 5. And you put this equation in y equals trace and make sure that it goes through the point -1, -7. Okay? When we get to the test, there's going to be answer choices. So you're not going to have to do all this work anymore. You're just going to plug in those answer choices in y equals trace and see which one goes through that point and has the same slope. So this is the harder part today, just practicing point slope form and checking if your equation goes through that point or not. Problem number 5. Okay, now we're talking about perpendicular. So perpendicular slopes, you have to flip and change the sign. Flip it and change the sign. So what is my new slope? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Problem number 5. This one, flip this one and change the sign. So it's going to be a -7 over 4 because you flip 4 and 7 and you change the sign to a negative. So that's the slope that I'm going to use. My points are 5, 2, so that's my x1, y1. Let's plug it into the formula. Y minus parentheses equals, my new slope is -7 over 4. X minus parentheses, and plug in your numbers. So what's my y? 2. What's my x? 5. Change the sign to a negative. So the 2 becomes negative, the 5 becomes negative. So you have y minus 2 and x minus 5. Bring down the slope and the equal sign. What's the next step? Distribute, so -7/4 times x, -7/4 x, and -7/4 times -5. Put that in the calculator with parentheses around the fraction. Parentheses, -7/4 times -5. It's a positive. Math, enter. Positive 35/4. Did everybody get that? Wait, what was it? 35/4. Equals y minus 2. And what is the last step? Add 2 to both sides. So add 2. And remember, you don't have to retype it on the calculator. Just put +2, math, enter, and it should give you the answer. Because my last answer was 35/4. So if I do +2, enter, mine automatically does the fraction. You have a different calculator, so you have to press math, enter, and it'll give you 43/4. Positive 43/4. That was from that. Bring down the slope, -7/4 x. Okay? Whatever you don't finish is homework. We're doing the whole front page today. I need you to practice as much as possible so we can finish the worksheet tomorrow and do some examples that are going to be on the test, the quiz on Thursday. Remember, that's the last major grade before report cards are due. So I need you to practice. If you don't finish, it's homework, and whatever you don't do, we're calling parents tomorrow.